I took a lot of time up. You've got about 45, 50 seconds, which is probably a good thing. But what's going on in your mind?
Yeah, no, I actually appreciate that, because you and I were joking before we came on the air the last couple hours in this market just kind of looked like watching paint dry. And we do have a long weekend ahead of us, so maybe that's potentially playing a little bit of a catalyst in the afternoon, boring trade, so to speak. But yeah, I think really when we come back to next week is really what I'm looking forward to. This is, the time of year where you start to see that volatility increase, and I think we can squeeze a little bit more out in these grain markets. But I've been telling producers, if we get another couple of weeks of good prices, I think you're going to want to be pretty proactive in playing defense, just looking at the seasonality of things for that new crop December corn. We start to kind of run out of steam in the first couple of weeks of June, so that's certainly going to be something you're going to want to circle on your calendar to have some decisions kind of in place on what you want to do and get done by then.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be that way. I mean, are you, real quick, in 10 seconds, are you massively bullish, massively bearish, or are you kind of in purgatory? I mean, what are your long-term views here?
I'm in purgatory. I think we squeeze out a little bit more to the upside, but I think by the time we get towards fall, I wouldn't be surprised to see new lows in order, unfortunately, barring any major weather concerns or outside market impact.
All right, hedge him up now is what he's trying to tell us. All right, stay right there. We're going to go away. We're going to pay some bills. We're going to Deef, that's down 37 cents to 76.42, and that gives me the chance to get back to our guest analyst, Oliver Slope. He's with Blue Line Futures in Chicago. Oliver, anything jump out at you when we talk about some of these livestock prices?
Well, we're seeing a little bit of weakness creep into the cattle complex here over the last 20, 30 minutes or so, and I think some of that could just be some profit taking after a nice run higher for the last several sessions. In fact, 7 sessions of upside for the June live cattle contract today was going to be the 8th, but it looks like we're reversing. We do have a cattle on feed report tomorrow afternoon, so potentially you're seeing a little bit of profit taking ahead of that and the long weekend. I think the important thing to note with that is we've got a big report out tomorrow, and you won't be able to trade or act on it until we come back on Tuesday. So people probably squaring up some stuff and tying up loose ends on that front. Ultimately, though, this market, I think, looks really healthy. The fund participation has been lackluster, but we're entering a time of year where we start to see some really good seasonal strength with grilling season. And if the outside markets can kind of hold their footing as well, potentially that adds a nice tailwind going into the summer months for the cattle complex.
I'm glad you brought up the outside markets. I mean, I'm going to do my best to continue to keep that beef going. But at the same time, we got a lot of reports from some of these quarterly earnings reports about the consumer starting to show some signs of weakness. You got about 25 seconds. Have you heard about those things too? And if you have, does it concern you?
Yeah, the consumer's showing weakness. I know there's a lot of chains that are shutting down too, or at least closing some of their business locations. So that's certainly something. It feels like there are starting to be some cracks out there, which is a little bit concerning. But as you mentioned, you're doing your part. I'm going to keep doing mine, and hopefully the seasonality aspect of it can keep people's spirits high, and they can go out, get a steak, and throw it on the grill.
All right, great stuff as usual. Thank you very much for your content. Love having you on, Oliver Slope, Blue Line Futures in Chicago. I'll bring it back here to